7:32. Apologies for that. And it's Thursday night, and that means it can only be time for live. So I've rather confused myself by rushing like buggery to get this ready. As you can see, I've just been out in the rain. Why have you been out in the rain, Dave? Because I've just sold Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Damned Van, indeed. Yes, he's somebody has turned up and left their deposit on it, in a good way. And yes, they'll be coming back for him on Sunday. So there you go, Jean-Claude Damned Van is no more. Crying shame. I'm really going to miss that old van. Bloody old knacker that it was. I really, really liked it. It also leaves me without a bed for the Eurofinals, which is a bit of a pain. Hello, Rob. How you doing? Hiya, Chris. Yeah, so boo. It looks like I might either be tenting it or doing something equally unpleasant for the Eurofinals. But there we go, a small price to pay. So, hiya, Biff. How are you doing, mate? How'd everything go today with all your checks and poking and prodding and whatnot? And if you're wondering why I'm looking from one thing to the other, it's because this machine is on Facebook. This machine is on YouTube. High tech. No messing. Hello, Rob. How are you doing, matey? How's things going with you? Are you going to be ready for the Eurofinals? Are we going to see you there? So, yeah, what else is new apart from, like I said, well, basically since the last live. Hi, Nick. You're back in Blighty. How are you enjoying being back? Are you enjoying the fecking drizzle? I'm sure you missed that while you were away in Florida, didn't you? Hiya, Dave. So, yeah, you've come home, flown back to bloody cold and grey and damp as a badger's fanny. But there we go. Hello, Ryan. How you doing, matey? How's the Volvo? Not bad. It's just an MRI scan today. Radiotherapy starts on the 18th. So, oh boy. So, yeah, that's... they're moving pretty quickly, though, which is a good sign. But, matey, cool, bloody, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Hello, Phil. How are you doing, mate? What's new with you? What's new with everybody? I like the Facebook, and yes, we will be at the Euros. Fantastic. Oh, I'm really rather looking forward to the Eurofinals. Unfortunately, I can't. It's a 4-day event. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I can't be there thanks to work. I can't be there until at the earliest Friday afternoon, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to be in because, like I say, I've just sold Jean-Claude Damned Van. So, hello, Derek. How are you doing, matey? How's things? Hello, Richard. I'm keeping very well, thank you, Dave. So Nick says, we left there in the middle of a hurricane. You took off in a hurricane. That must have been entertaining. Did they come round and hand out bloody sick bags and bicycle clips? But there we go. So happy days. Hiya, Mark. How are you doing, matey? Blimey. So yes, in fact, all this week since the last live has been basically all centred around Jean-Claude Damned Van. He's had evening, says Ryan, it's nearly there. I saw the videos the other day. Got the driver's side exhaust to finish up. All being well, I should be able to MOT it late. And that's where it ends. Damn. But that is good news. Nice one, Ryan. So, you can have it all up and running just in time for the end of the season. Oh, that's a pisser. But hey-ho. Biff says, what's new? The coilovers. Ooh, coilovers for the Corvette. Ooh, I'm intrigued. Nice one. In late September. Okay, so yeah, you're going to have it ready for... Are you going to make the last round of NSCC, do you reckon? Evening, Nigel. How you doing, buddy? How's things? I held on to my speed parts like my life depended on it. And when you say speed parts, you actually mean sort of car spares, don't you? That's not a vile euphemism. But yes, so in the event it all went terribly wrong, you'd have put your head between your knees and kissed your speed parts goodbye with it. Hi, Ian. How you doing, matey? How's things with you? If money allows and all things goes well, yes, fantastic. Oh, and that, sorry, going off a slight, talking of late September, as these people have agreed to buy Jean-Claude Damme van today, but they're not coming back for it until Sunday, I have to put another month's tax on it. Pain in my dirt box. I really, really begrudge paying the government 25 quid or whatever it is for a month's road fund licence when they're clearly not funding the roads terribly well. Around here, like I say, they've done a lot of work over summer to turn the roads from impassable into merely unacceptable. And as I am currently taxing, well, as of tomorrow, I'll be taxing 5 vehicles. I really, really wish they'd put a bit more bloody effort in. Hello, Matt. How are you doing, mate? So, yes, on at the weekend, well, let's put up that little video on the Facebook page of me washing the van for the first time in a couple of years. And at no point before have I ever washed the top of the van, because, of course, it's a high-top thing, so the high roof is about 11 feet off the deck. And hello, Carol. How are you doing? How's everything down there and down south? So yeah, I actually washed the top of the van, which was tricky when you're up a step ladder with a bloody great big long brush, and you're trying to do that sort of motion to clean the roof without sort of punting the ladder off to one side at the same time, because I'm not good with ladders. I'm really not. Well, I'm fine with ladders. It's the sort of plummeting to the ground and things going crunch that I'm not particularly good with. But anyway, yes, as you can see in the video, it came up pretty bloody lovely. And then I went round it with some fine abrasive paint restorer. Tesco's call it Jif, or Sif as it is now, which, when you haven't washed your van in many, many years, works a bloody treat. Speaking of vans, I've ripped everything out of mine, starting to... Oh, right. Oh, you're starting again from scratch? Oh, Christ, okay. Hello, Andy. How you doing? Happy birthday. If you're on the Facebook one, it's Andy's birthday today. Happy birthday. And I remember when I was that age. And once again, whenever you type a comment, your name comes up and your comment doesn't, which is a pain in the knob. Let's see what happens if I press that. Nothing. I don't get to see what you're saying. So clearly Facebook has decided that because you keep derailing the conversation, it's not going to show me what you say. Thanks, Zuckerberg. And again, yes, another message from Andy that I can't see. Oi. Hello, Derek. Yes, I did indeed. It was, like I say, it's been a good few years with that van, and I really, really like it. How about now, says Andy. Yes, and Andy has migrated from Facebook to YouTube. So Facebook to PooTube, because this is a load of old shite. So I can see that, Andy. Thank you very much. Oh, isn't technology wonderful? So yes, after a wash with, when you buy a drum of TFR, and it says dilute 1 part TFR to 75 parts water, and you go, no, and dilute it to about 1 in 10, and it still doesn't shift all the crap off the roof of the van, you know it's been far too long since you last washed your van. I was more worried about the neat TFR, well, nearly neat TFR taking the bloody paint off. The 6 is out of the Bel Air. Oh, okay. I didn't know you still had the Bel Air. Because haven't you got that Chevelle? For some reason, I thought you'd sold the Bel Air and bought the Chevelle. Oh, but cool, excellent stuff. Nice to hear. Nice to hear that. This is on the YouTube one. Yes, I know. I can see that. Hello, Mike. How you doing? Mustang Owners Club event on Sunday? No, unfortunately not, because this month is a bloody busy month. Like I say, you got the Mustang event on Sunday. Well, this weekend, I think. The following weekend is the Eurofinals now. I'm going to be away at the Eurofinals all weekend. The weekend after that is the Hot Rod Drags and the next round at Melbourne. And I would be really, really keen to go to one or the other of them if it wasn't for the fact that the subsequent weekend is the national finals, and I'll be back at Santa Pod for that. And I'm thinking more than 2 weekends away a month is pushing my luck and my budget more than a little. So today I have mostly been spending my birthday under a client's incredibly rusty Land Rover Discovery. Whatever you choose to do on your birthday, mate, you know, some people get the bumps. You get a shower of rusty shizzle. If that's what makes you happy, mate, then he's a jolly good fellow. So, yes, unfortunately, I doubt I'll be anywhere this weekend, in fact, because, like I say, I can probably just about stomach 2 weekends away in a month, and those 2 will be at Santa Pod for the Euro finals and the national finals. As I've said, it's a 4-day event. So you get down there on the Thursday, and Thursday is kind of sportsman day when a lot of the sportsman qualifying takes place, which is a pisser because I'll miss that. And I won't be able to get down there. I'll probably miss all of Friday as well. I'll get down there Friday evening. Carol says, yes, still got the Bel Air. Oh, blimey. Is it a 60, your Bel Air? 59 or 60, or did I imagine that? Not driven in a good while, but time now to spend time on it. Minter, excellent. I'm glad to hear that. And yes, you pulling the motor, pulling the 6 out. Am I to predict a 33% increase in the number of cylinders? Same client with the incredibly sweet Series 2A V8. 60, yes, that's it. I knew it was in that part of the dartboard, so that's cool. Hello, Phil. How you doing, matey? How's things for you? So, same client with the incredibly sweet, now sweet. I see. Right, okay. Well, there we go. So anyway, yes, I spent all day Saturday scrubbing turds off of the bloody van. Most of the day Sunday cleaning the inside, where I seem to have amassed an incredible quantity. Oh yes, so a 33% increase in the number of cylinders coming up. Minter, is that a winter project or is it more far-reaching than that? How you doing, Phil? Are you all right up there? Unfortunately, I've had to break the news that his disco sills are made of powdered Solihull steel and underseal only, which I think is factory, isn't it? Because you know you can get connecting rods and things like ball joints and stuff made out of powdered metal. Well, they got the order wrong at Solihull and ordered metal powder, and thought, bugger it, just paint it. Seems Motor Bureau are having another open day this Sunday from 10 a.m. Nice one. Unfortunately, I can't make it. It's taking Anna to Stansted Airport. Stansted? My God, what's she done to deserve that? And I assume she's catching an aeroplane. You're not just taking her there and leaving her there. Hiya, Mark. How you doing, mate? So yes, having in the van an inordinate quantity of tent pegs. More pegs than I've ever had tents. So yes, we're hoping to do Motor Bureau. Cool, nice one. It seems like a good little venue for a ride out, that. Yeah, to the extent that now, because they're just stashed under the sort of the bench bed thing in the back. Whenever you stood on the brakes, especially since I fixed the brakes, whenever you stand on the brakes, there's a sudden sort of tsunami of tent pegs. She's going to Oz for a year, and this is the time to do it. So she's flying away from England. Just now it's starting to get beautiful and damp, cold, and feckin' miserable to go to Australia. What's the matter with the girl? Honestly. Dave's into pegging. Tent pegging, is that? Yes, which is the countryside version. They're a funny lot, these camping and caravan. That's what it means by camping it up. But yes, like I say, I've got more pegs than I've ever seen tents, so quite why I do not know. But having removed them all, I think I can expect at least an extra mile to the gallon, or rather the new owner can expect an extra mile to the gallon. So yeah, anyway, going to Australia, lucky Anna. I wish. Don't forget. Yes, I know. So she needed to sort of top up her vitamin D before leaving Britain. Otherwise, she'd fly to Australia, get off the plane there, and just spontaneously combust if she had a proper British summer complexion. But there we go. Yes, that's lovely. It's. I wish I was going. I really do. Hey ho. There we go. I'm sure she'll have a grand time. And you can rent a room out. Sorry, I didn't mean that. So there we go. It's a lovely bittersweet moment when you finally get SG. Sorry, you say SG to me. That means super gas. Although I've had super gas once or twice. Ah, get shut of an old LDV. Yes, it's yeah. I'm finding it really rather sad. I'm sure the neighbours will be holding a street party when that thing leaves, but I really miss it. Already, it's not even left yet. I've got to go down the workshop and find out all the spares that go with it. I've got sort of lights and other rubbish. I forgot to tell her we've sold the house and moving. That's it. Oh dear. They do a street week in... Oh, yes, they do. And I was going to say, if she's there for the Street Machine Summer Nationals in Canberra, tell her she's got to go there, and you can give her a shopping list. Basically to tell her, you know, oh, don't worry about a Christmas present from me, but in January, love, you'll be getting a bloody list. I love my when it worked, but was utterly fooked by the end. Yes. Not the first time you've been fooked by the end. But yes, that did need... So when I was talking to these prospective buyers and I was going through the list of jobs that I was going to do when I had nothing else to do, and when I had some time and some money and nothing better to do, and I realised I'd got a big list and accomplished none of them. I also remember that there's a little split in the fiberglass roof from where I tried to drive an 11-foot van under a 10-foot-8 awning. It didn't end well, but fortunately I stopped within within a foot of going, having tried to go under this awning, stopped very short, because had I actually got any further it would have ripped the skylight off. The Artigo is a worthy replacement if a tad oversized. Well, quite, although I'm reliably informed that size isn't everything, which is just as well. But yes, so I'd forgotten about... Yeah, that's one of them things. I was going to get up a ladder and with some fiberglass resin and repair that. Yeah, I didn't get around to that. And dig all the sealant out of the gutters and repair them. And yeah, I didn't get around to that either. And all these bloody things I never got around to. And now it's gone. However, I did find a van today on was it on eBay, that really floated my boat. But as my other half has just kindly and gently pointed out to me, mate, the idea of selling one van was not to buy another. Shush. I mean, if I wanted bloody rational and reasonable, I'd have asked you. But there we go. Hey ho. So yes, like I say, before the LDV's even left, I've already been struck by another van. Not physically, metaphorically, has to be said. What else is going on? Oh, yes. The other day I went to... speaking of size, I only put on £9 while on holiday. You've lost 11 since you got home. Bloody... Since you got home? You've not been home a week, have you? What, you've just been for an enormous shite? Was it that rather fetching Matt Blackie Vecco camper for a grant? No. Everyone needs a van. Yes. Vans are sort of the best multi-purpose vehicles ever, because they can be load haulers, they can be, yeah, homes, And that's one thing the LDV did have, which is quite... There's one question they asked. They said, on the logbook, what's it registered as? I said, it's registered as a motor caravan. I said, oh, that's good because it gives you an extra 10 mile an hour speed limit on the motorway. You'll not be using it. It's there, but you'll never see it. Especially if it's got free candy written on it. Well, yes, quite right. I mean, yes, so it was the other one that was amused me was free 10mm sockets. It's the enemas at the hospital, I'm convinced. Well, that would make me lose a few pounds as well. Vans are small, wagons are the best. Yes, I, again, still got me knob out for a 3-door wagon, but, yeah, it's going to have to wait. Do you still have the Mercedes? Yes, I do. In fact, the whole point of half of this is because tomorrow, the Fiesta, the intern mobile, is now insured and MOT'd. Tomorrow it will be taxed and subsequently pressed into service. So yeah, this is why I'm grumbling about now. Tomorrow I will be directly debited for 5 fecking months of tax. Would not be without my 18 van. No, you shouldn't be. And this is what I mean. With it, apropos of absolutely nothing, when I saw this other advert, I was like, oh, you'll have to hold me back. And it's sort of in, not quite, but heading towards my price bracket, which, as you can imagine, means it's shite. But, latest rumours is cameras on the NC500 to charge motorhome. Charge them for what? By small wagons, you mean less than 7.5 tonnes. I mean station wagons, which station wagon / motorhome. Yeah, for my money. Those Swedish guys on Street Week who bunked down in the back of an El Camino, that is cool. And like I say, it had a topper on it, but it was a really, really small topper. So if you sat up in a hurry in the morning, you would brain yourself. The Defender is dying after 15 years of abuse and has just been replaced with a Volkswagen T5. It's a revelation, and then it ends. But I see. So the Defender, the old Land Rover. Oh boy! Well, it comes to something when a van is more civilised and comfortable than a Land Rover. Latest rumour is cameras on the NC500 to charge motorhomes. Charge them for what? Or do you mean try and speed trap them? Yeah, what do they hope to charge them for? Or with, indeed. Charge them with obstruction if they drive too slowly. I always fancied that NC500, North Coast 500. Again, that's something I'll get around to one day. Freezing even. What's freezing? So yes, tomorrow, 5 lots of tax. Feck me. Then the LDV will go. I'll be then in the prison van. Yes. That's it. If I wouldn't still have blue lights on it, would it? Yeah, just drive through the cameras with your blue lights going. They won't say a dicky bird. Yeah, the LDV's going, so the Fiesta can come from the workshop to home. The Chrysler can go from home to the workshop and actually get some work done on it. And yeah, there you go. All I'll have achieved is shuffling stuff around. It's like that game where you've got sort of a dried pea under 3 plastic cups. Oh, happy days. Yeah, actually, like I say, I haven't got a bed, Andy, for the Eurofinals. I'll borrow your wagon off you if you don't mind, as long as there's no prisoners still in it, because, yeah, you never know. It's not a camper, nudge, nudge, wink, wank. Okay. I really hope that was a typo. I noticed there's not really an emoji for that, but good. It's not a camper, fudge, nudge, yes. So, right. So yeah, if all of this has happened, and again, I haven't driven my Mustang in weeks. Oh, no, I went up to Alton Park in it a couple of Saturdays ago. But yeah, I'm not exactly getting my value for money out of that. A fee for bringing pollution. Ah, Jesus. That is just the magic word at the minute for... We'll charge you what we feckin' well like. Because otherwise, how will you learn? If we don't have your trousers down, you won't learn about your horrible polluting old vehicles. Really? Why are you going to make a sound clip of it and have it as your ringtone? So yeah, it is a con. So for an area that kind of relies on tourism, hey, let's fleece the tourists. I mean, I know that's kind of what Scotland does anyway. I mean, at the minute with all that Loch Ness thing going on, it's amazing how every few years somebody makes an amazing discovery in Loch Ness, and presumably it's the tourist board have gone, it's getting a bit quiet again. When was the last time we had a Loch Ness thing? Oh, it was about 7 years ago. Right, time for another. Call the PR department. And, yeah. But if they did that there, they'd be like, oh, right, all the roads into Loch Ness, cameras, let's charge the motorhomes, let's charge the caravans. If they're on a donkey, we'll charge them as well. Because donkeys pollute. Just because you can shovel it onto your rhubarb doesn't mean it isn't pollution. No, no. And we can't have Loch Ness polluted. It will kill the fecking monster that isn't there, but we're still selling sticks of fecking Loch Ness rock. This tribe. Oh, God, not that I'm bitter or anything. But there we go. And maybe they will prove me wrong and they will find a monster in Loch Ness and maybe they will find a Bigfoot. But frankly, any creature that has gone to that much trouble to avoid humanity, and I can't say I blame the buggers, just leave them alone. Stop looking for them. They don't want to be found. Yes, like I say, if I had the option of avoiding most people, I think I would. And you could sell sticks of Dave Smith rock. But hey, there we go. So what else is new? What's going on this weekend? Well, yes, there's a few things going on this weekend. As Mike said earlier, there's the big Mustang Bash. I can't even remember where that is happening. There's Volkswagen Action. Is it? No, it's not the A602s. Who else has got a show on this weekend? Anyway, there are still a few things going on. No one's willing to admit it's nothing more than a particularly hefty morag gone for a morning swim in the nip. Well, that would account for some of the peculiar sort of photographs that exist of Loch Ness. It always seems like the more outlandish the phenomena being photographed, the less focused the photograph. Nessie was created by Aleister Crowley when he abandoned the Babylon working to... What? Babylon working to deal with McGregor Matthews. And, okay. I don't know what half of that means, but it kind of makes sense. Mustang shows in Royston. There you go, Hertfordshire. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't mind going along to that. Do you know if there's many foxes going? Because they tend to be underrepresented at these events. Corvettes at the Lakes is on this weekend at Ullswater. Oh, right. Didn't you go to that last year? I remember you being very struck with it. You'll have to excuse me as well, because I've been yakking outside to these people and yakking to these machines for the last half an hour. My throat is as dry as a Flid's hanging baskets. No, it's still a hefty morag. Hefty is a useful word, isn't it? Right, my Volkswagen camper has just passed 50 years old, still working fine, it owes nothing, and is saving the environment. Hold on, let's see what happens if I press this. With every mile it does. Yes, do not get me started on this scrappage scheme. Bollocks. Most cars over 30 years old have amortised the energy and resources used in their manufacture long since. I know 3 of us that will be going. Excellent. So presumably that's you, Pete, and somebody else. Waiting to see the scornful eye of the vintage owners. Show me your ass. Because your cars have absolutely as much right to be on that field as any other. Babylon working was a magic ritual that was... Oh, right, okay, fair enough. You're giving it a miss. Right, okay, yeah, you said it was not the most exciting event. However, a bunch of Corvettes tooling around that part of the roads in that part of the world, I can imagine that'd be quite entertaining. Or do they all just turn up and sit in a deck chair? Bring the Scarlet Woman into manifestation. Bloody hell. Well, there we go. If you read the advert I put down for Jean-Claude Van, that can manifest a few Scarlet Women, I'll tell you. All nonsense, of course, but there we go. Sod the new shite. I like to be able to fix my motors without having to have a PhD in IT. Well, quite. And like I say, there's no real... I don't see the environmental benefit of like, right, this car is 30 years old, but it's working perfectly. However, I'm going to turn it into 2 tons of waste and buy a new car that has just had God knows how many kilowatts of energy poured into its manufacture in order to perhaps save a fractional amount of carbon dioxide output. No, no, sorry, I'm not having that at all. And, as you say, you like to be able to work on your own motors. Ever since, I'm sure it was Mercedes who tried to pass a law through tried to force a law through the European Union saying that only franchise Mercedes dealers should be allowed to work on Mercedes cars. Nobody else. Not the owners, not independent garages, no, just Mercedes franchise dealers. And since then, since that got kicked out, thankfully, not many times you can say hooray for Brussels, but in this instance, since then, it's basically all manufacturers have started making it more and more. It's not even difficult. It's impossible to work on your own cars unless you have the incredibly expensive factory software to do so. I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it might have been Gasket who was saying in certain cars, I think this was Land Rovers actually, unless you have this incredibly thousands of pounds of the factory software to plug into the ECU, you can't change the brake pads. Because if you try and push the caliper, wind the pistons back into the calipers, the ECU freaks out. And if you crack a bleed nipple, the ECU registers a loss of pressure and freaks out and just puts it into limp. So, no, you can't change your brake pads. You have to take it back to your Land Rover franchise dealer and pay them whatever it is, £150 an hour, to change your feckin' brake pads for you. And of course there will come a time when it's simply not worth spending that much money on a Land Rover to have the bloody brakes changed, and lo and behold, that vehicle will end up being scrapped. How green. Let's shorten the life of all our vehicles. Yeah, it's the deck chair thing, yes, plus yet again I have a fuel leak. Oh no, leave the car for a month then. Oh, bloody hell, where's it leaking from? Is it from the tank or the carb or some pipes? Yeah, I'd like to see him try it with my old Defender. Well, quite. I mean, things like your old Defenders and that LDV. It's designed to be fixed by somebody with a toolkit, not £1 million of the software and, as Andy says, a PhD in information technology. You can't change the calipers without the software. Yeah, well, never mind. Well, I don't know about change the calipers, because of course changing the calipers would involve you opening a brake pipe union, at which point it would have gone, lost brake pressure, beep, 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 panic. Is the computerisation a plan to make stuff more expensive and disposable? How cynical. No, of course not. Yeah, it bloody is. It really, really is. It, as Phil has now said, it was designed to break down. And the only people who can know, although it's not, like I say, the EU rejected the law that only a franchise dealer could work on that make of car. They've effectively done it the back door route, if you'll pardon the phrase, so that now nobody can work on that manufacturer or that brand of car unless they're willing to fork out zillions for the software to do so. And this is what I've been saying now that, and God help me with electric cars, because even now, who was I speaking to? Somebody who worked at Porsche. And of course they have, their electric Porsches and their hybrid Porsches. They said 90% of the problems that they get with Porsches, electric and hybrid Porsches under warranty, are software problems. So, if it's your car and it breaks down, what are you going to do? Nothing. You've got to take it to Porsche. They're not going to say, oh, well, I'll email it to you. No problem. Hold your phone up next to the dashboard and we'll sort it out like that. No. You've got to drag it in, have it recovered by, let's face it, what will probably be a big diesel 7.5 ton recovery wagon. Drag it into the dealership and they'll sort it out for you. No worries. They're 100 and whatever pounds an hour, plus VAT. Even if my spine will be ruined in doing so. Matey, I'm surprised your spine hasn't been ruined already. Anyway. So, yeah, I think at some point the Defender left the factory with a lifting eye on the engine. Yes, ironically, it rattled loose and fell off. What, the engine or the lifting eye? Yeah, all my old Dolomites had a lifting eye front and rear. And yeah, that's classy. You didn't get software problems in a milk float. Well, quite. You had an enormous bunch of a battery of batteries, in fact, underneath the load bed, and you had a throttle pedal that was basically a variable resistor, and away you went. And I want to go. Yep. The right to repair needs to be pushed hard. John Deere is very guilty of not allowing farmers to repair their own tractors. Everybody's at it, and like I say, as soon as it turns, oh, the Atigo is way bouncier than the Viking. Well, okay, can't beat a bouncy Viking. But this is it, because Mercedes, with what was presumably a Vanguard case, failed to get it through. They're just making it more and more difficult. And I noticed that there was recently a consultation where it was proposed to make it illegal, an anti-tampering law. And of course, everybody shit their knickers thinking, oh my God, well, what if you've tweaked your ECU in your old car? Or you've replaced your factory ECU with an aftermarket, like a MegSquirt or something. Panic! And the response to that was, no, don't worry, it's all to do with electric cars. It's mainly to do with electric cars, especially autonomous cars, because obviously you don't want people freaking fiddling around with a self-driving car, because God knows what could happen. And we all went, oh, phew, that's okay then. So now, if you do get a software problem, now not only is it incredibly difficult for you to fix it yourself, it'll be illegal. So they've basically succeeded in the original mission to prevent anybody working on the cars other than franchise dealerships. The Viking suspension is utterly immovable. It's solid. Right, okay. So all the suspension is dealt with by the sidewall of the tyre, is it? Yeah, but like I say, things like the old van and that Defender are designed to be repaired by a bloke with a toolkit, especially a farmer. And let's face it, all the farmers I know don't go a bundle on, oh, let's just plug it into the laptop and see what happens. No, there's step one is club it with a hammer. They don't even bother with the invariable step one of a Haynes manual, which is disconnect the negative terminal of the battery. Except on a modern car, of course, if you disconnect the negative terminal of the battery for long enough, it'll probably decode the ECU and you'll need to take it back to your... in fact, you'll probably need to take it to your dealer to get the battery changed. Yes, and the mediocre padding in the seat. So are we looking at getting like one of those lifesaver rings from somewhere to sit on? Oh, I should imagine that would do your farmers a power of no good. So there we go. Not much else has happened. I was going to say, I don't know if I told anybody, on Tuesday, I went along to meet with a chap who organises a biggish show in this neck of the woods, actually in February. The meeting wasn't dead successful in as much as he didn't turn up, in as much as I was meant to meet him there, and because he had such a long way to go, and somebody else had dropped out of the meeting last minute, he said, oh, I blew it out. But, I think a race seat would be comfy. Oh, what, like an aluminium one, a bomber seat. But, I mean, and we're talking proper back of a beer mat idea here. Do you reckon there's any interest left in something along the lines of a 70s indoor custom show? I know that probably the closest thing we get to that anymore is the best of British or best in Britain part of the National Hot Rod and Custom Show. But that's, I mean, that was a good few weeks ago now, but this event is right out of season. It's in February. What else happens in February? Sweet, it's my dog's birthday. That is the only significant thing I wouldn't be mother's, Christ. That's the only significant thing I can think that happens in February. So, does anybody think there's any mileage at all in trying to talk about custom indoor 79s show? Message retracted. Okay. Dub freeze. I don't know that one. I don't. Like I say, the whole Volkswagen thing kind of passes me by. But I'll take your word on it. NSCC AGM. Bastard. Was that in February? Or was that in March this year? No, it was in February, wasn't it? You're right. Crap. I hadn't even thought of that. Damn. For some reason I thought it was in March, but you're right, it was in February. But yes, like I say, I think there may be an opportunity to host something like that. But, like I say, it is all on the back of a beer mat at the moment and may not happen at all. So, stay tuned. And talking of events and whatnot, don't forget the Kenny's Bar reunion event on the 21st of October, which, which because it is advance tickets only, all right for once, I'll have a word with Trish Biff and we'll soon get that retracted. Volkswagen show, don't go anymore, it's too cold. I think there's a clue in the title there, Phil. It's called Dub Freeze. I know there's still bike rallies and whatnot that happen in the dead of bloody winter, and I'm thinking, oh, God. You know, no, I mean, now I just think, no. I'll just think about a bike rally in the dead of winter and my back seizes up. Um, yes, the Kenny's Bar reunion. Like I say, it's advanced tickets. So I've had a few people say, oh, well, we'll just turn up and pay on the door. No, unfortunately, no. It is kind of advanced tickets required. If you go to the details for this are pinned to the top of the HRG Facebook page. And if you go to the Hot Rod Gazette group, it's under events. If you click on events, it's down there. If you do fancy going along, like I say, please do get a ticket because there's none of this pay on the gate lark. And yes, that should be, I think that should be fun because, like I said, I'm hoping to attract all the sort of people who used to go to Kenny's Bar and drink and talk bullshit until the early hours of the morning, and dancing, and there must be some really good Kenny's Bar stories. And here's one of my favourites. It was Kenny's Bar. The disco was going great guns. I was stood outside the little side door on the shithouses side, and I was stood talking to Kath and Tig Napier, and some old punk song come on. The DJ started playing some old punk song or other, and there was people pogoing about. Two of the people pogoing being Dave Billadew and Stephen Amantis. And I said to Kath and Tig, me being a fairly heavy-set fellow, Steve and Dave being fairly long, thin streaks of piss, I said, watch this, I'm going to go and mosh those two fuckers. So I went charging through this door, shoulder first, straight at them. Stephen Amantis, who'd seen me coming, just basically grabbed me by the collar, swung me round 270 degrees and back out through the door through which I'd just come in. And I ended up outside, standing by the bogs going, how the bloody hell did that happen? And Kath and Tig were absolutely wetting themselves laughing at me because I'd just been out-moshed by two of the skinniest buggers he'd ever wished to see. Happy days. Yes, Melbourne 16th and 17th, as Phil has just pointed out. Correct. Again, same weekend as the bloody Hot Rod Drags, which is a shame. But what else are they going to do? Every weekend in September is full with an event at Santa Pod. So, excuse me. So, yes, Melbourne is middle of September. Much as I'd like to come up there, even if just for the day, I think I may well be already somewhat overextended in September. I'm trying to think what else I've got to tell you. Not a lot. I've blathered about me van and the fact that even though it's still outside, I already miss it. Yeah, I've really kind of run out of anything to say here. So if you have anything to chip in with, please do so. Hello, Jerry. How are you doing, mate? How's things with you? How are all your projects coming along? Because, yeah, you're a man who actually achieves stuff. You achieve the level of stuff that I only dream of. More new concrete poured last weekend at Melbourne. Excellent. Like I say, every time I go up there now, new stuff has happened. Last one before he died ended in a punch-up. Right. Would anyone... It's a Porsche 4-cam. I expect it's been done. I know that... crewing for... Oh, yes, Derek, I am crewing for James. Hello, Tony. How's things with you, mate? How's things up there? How are you getting along? How's the Trans Am? I can't imagine there aren't many motors that haven't been stuck in a Volkswagen at some point. I know the Porsche engine thing used to be a fairly popular swap, in as much as, it's not like you found a lot of Porsches in your local scrapyard. But that was a popular swap until Subarus became really popular. And now suddenly it's far easier to just bung a Subaru flat for it. Do you hear it? The fresh MOT on the Vicky, mint it and off round the Highlands tomorrow. Oh, what, doing the sort of the NC 500, the North Coast 500, or just having a tool about? Oh, what's the event called that you're off onto? Because I bumped into Mike Skelly the other weekend, and I'm sure he mentioned it. Not much to add as usual. I didn't gain any new superpowers from diving on that nuclear outfall pipe last week. Oh no. Well, that's. I thought that was considered the bonus payment for. On the other hand, you'd probably have had a. You'd have probably have gained a really crap superpower, wouldn't you? Like the ability to see the back of your own head, or the ability to shit through newspaper without breaking it or something. I don't know. Mike says, I just knocked out another T5 rebuild. Minter. Finished moving house. Nice one, nice one. So where are you now? Are you still sort of close to where you were? If it ain't air cooled, it ain't cool. Subaru in my house. Fair enough. The Croft era, that's it. Meeting Mike and Chris in Inverness tomorrow. Bloody hell, so how far are you from Inverness? That's a fair old dredge for anybody, isn't it? Oh, right, so not a zillion miles away then, Mike. That's all cool. Oh, Tony says, doing the wiring on his Trans Am. Good. Cool. I was going to say, by the time we finish this, you'll be able to sort of Bluetooth your brake lights, won't you? Well, that's all good stuff. So, yeah, I was going to say, for what it's worth, Mike, the T5 in my blue Mustang is still probably the nicest part of the car. 4 hours, well, in a Ford Victoria. And for anybody listening, that's not a Ford Crown Victoria, that's an old Ford Victoria. 30, what year is it? 30 something? And rather handsome with it. Ah, dear. Oh, today I also had a really, really, really irrational moment. It's 32. Yeah, there you go. 32 Ford Victoria. Nice one. The superpower of tolerating working on rusty old cack and gang mowers. Well, there you go. This is a superpower that might actually come in useful. Certainly more useful than being able to see the back of your own head. Because believe me, there are plenty of blokes out there that's in the back of your head and they said it's nothing to write home about. You've succeeded again. Oh dear. Where was I at? Oh, I forgot. Oh, it couldn't have been that important. Always worry I didn't do. No, the only problem I'm having with it is that the clutch adjuster cable has got the adjuster nut with the sort of the dome bit on the front and a lock nut, except I don't remember it ever having a lock nut. And at some point the lock nut has unlocked, buggered off, and can I find a nut with the same thread? Can I? Arse biscuits. I don't know what thread it is. I don't even at the minute know whether it's metric or imperial because nothing seems to fit. So at the moment I'm going, your work here is complete. Before you go off to celebrate completing your work, can you tell me what the bloody hell I was talking about? Oh lordy, the fecking battery in this phone's about to die. Yeah, I've had to go around work pocketing all the nuts I can lay my hands on in the hope that one of them will be correct. But of course, 99% of the nuts at my workplace are metric. So if it does turn out to be imperial, and incidentally, it's not a factory adjustable cable, it's a Ying Tong Tiddly Fo aftermarket cable. Which I got because I didn't know, because I have a bulkhead adjuster as well. And I didn't know that the whole point of the bulkhead adjuster is so that you can use the factory cable. And got an adjustable one anyway. Now, of course, Can't find the factory cable. No, that's disappeared into a different plane of bleeding reality. So I've got to stick with the adjustable, the self-adjusting adjustable cable. Until, like I say, I can find whatever nut goes on that Christless thread. Hey ho, and of course I do have a bucket of nuts and bolts and screws and stuff that will come in handy. And hello Lee, how you doing, matey? What's new with you? And of course, if anyone's bulkhead needs adjusting. And how's things, matey? How's things with you? And again, I've lost my thread, but yes, adjustable cable, self-adjusting, adjusting in the wrong direction, to the extent that after about 100 miles you've got no clutch, or you've got no pedal, sorry. So you have to stay in fourth until you get home and can get under the car with a 1/2-inch spanner and tweak your nuts up. Ooh. Or nut, singular, because like I say, there isn't a second one. So, there you go. I've probably bored you quite enough. If anybody has anything else to add, please do so now. Otherwise, I'm going to go and have some tea. Your gin has run out. Got to go get a refill. See you next week. There you go. So, a Morrisism. What, tweaking your nuts up? It might be. Is it? Oh, he can't say anything. He's got the gag on. He had a gagging order long before the High Court in... whatever. Yeah, this is caused by lack of dinner. So, I'm going to go and get my dinner. Next week, with a bit of luck, we'll be back here on Thursday. Same night, same time next week, because I am currently on constant bloody morning shifts, which is a pain in the absolute ring piece. I really hate getting up in the mornings. Afternoon shift, fine. So, there we have it. I've got now left to add. So, unless anybody else does, you've got a few seconds left. Yes, nice one, Tony. Catch you later, mate. I will see you back here next week, 7:30 p.m, Thursday, which is the 7th, Thursday the 7th? Absolutely, yes, I'm wasting away here. I'll be down to me racing weight soon. So, thank you very, very much for coming along, whatever you're doing this weekend. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you stay safe. I hope the weather gets better for you, because this is just balls. Oh, that's another thing, is, as you notice, it's not even 8:30 yet, and it is properly bloody dark. Dim. Ha. So, thanks everybody for coming along. Same time next week. You never know, I might have something interesting to say, but I really, really wouldn't hold your breath or place any large bets on that. Thanks a lot, guys. See you very soon.